Hello. Now, today's video is about 1/64 scale stuff. When we think of 1/64 scale diecast collecting, you sometimes think of this sort of stuff. Hot Wheels. For instance, this is an X-34 land speeder from Star Wars. You may think, for instance, Greenlight. You know, if that's your preferred thing. But what if you want something that's even more premium than Greenlight? Well, there's 3 brands I've got to show you here that are very well detailed 1/64 stuff. So yeah, we're going to start with Paris 64. Now, this one being an 84 Sleeker in white. You can see 14 plus, because they're extremely detailed, but they have a lot of small parts, and they're not designed for playing about with them. So we'll just get it out of its acrylic case and take a closer look. Now you can see it's got accurate wheels, it's got little pop-up headlights. I think you can get a pop-up up and pop-up down variation. This is the up style, obviously. You got individual little mirrors, little spoiler there, and then lens details, and everything's just nice and correct. So pop that there. Next up, also from Paris 64, we have another white car, actually, a EP3 Honda Civic Type R, in I think the colour is Championship White, for the Hondas. Now, Hot Wheels released a Honda set recently. Actually, there is a review of it on the channel, but it's nowhere near as nicely detailed as this. The only thing I would pull it up on is a lot of the Honda, like the EP3 Type Rs, had red Recaro seats, whereas the interior is looking a little basic in that one. But outwardly, that's very nice. Next up, so yeah, we've got 4 Paris 64 to show, and then we'll move on to the next brand that we're going to talk about. We'll just do this one as a quick overview, because it is the same as that, but in red. And again, superbly detailed. Can't fault that at all. And then finally, for the Paris 64 line, is this 1985 Toyota MR2 Mark 1 in red. Now again, Matchbox brought out a 1/64 scale one of this. But does it look as good as this one? I don't think so. I mean, obviously these are more fragile. If you drop a Matchbox car, nothing really will happen to it. But if you drop this, you might lose a wing mirror or a spoiler or something. So that's why it's probably best to keep them in the acrylic cases. Although they do also look good off base and like on dioramas and things, but yeah, they're not for like putting through a racetrack or anything. But yeah, we'll remove these and then we'll move on to the next brand. Okay, so another one you might think of is Inno 64. Now these ones focus mainly on Japanese stuff from what I've seen. So the 80s and 90s Japanese sports cars. But yeah, again, same deal, acrylic sort of case. Quite a similar design to that of the Power 64, with the name on the base and everything. But this as you can see, is a Skyline GTSR R31 in all black. Yeah. Again, very nicely, superbly detailed. You've got detailing on the actual splitter to differentiate it. You've got very delicate wing mirrors there and a spoiler. So yeah, overall, very, very nice. Next vehicle, in keeping with the Nissan line, is a Nissan Fairlady Z Z32, or the 300ZX, depending on where you live. As you can see, it says 300ZX on the roof there. In a very nice yellow. And again, separate spoiler piece, very small, delicate wing mirrors. Fantastic detail on the front and rear. It has got molded seats, which actually I didn't show on this one, which has actually got bucket seats and racing harness. Got those two. And the interesting thing with the Fairlady Z, which I've noticed, but not on that one, it came with spare wheels and axles. Those are sort of like a BBS style wheel, and they just come sort of under the base, just tucked up. Yeah, that's a good little detail. And then finally, for Inno 64, again keeping with the Nissan theme, is this Nissan Primera P10. Now, if you're from the UK, you'll remember these in the touring car series in the 90s. But also just being a very reliable sort of taxi. Maybe not this one with the lowered wheels and, well, lowered and wheels and everything. But yeah, a very nice car. Very rare nowadays as well. So it's good to have. And then again, if you look inside, you've got a bucket seat with harnesses and then just a standard seat for the passenger. But it does say, get closer, or just drop you entirely. It does say Recaro on the seats, but I can't quite get an angle for it to show. There it is there. You see it. It's not very good view, but yeah. So yeah, Inno 64, very, very good. Especially if you like your Nissans and Japanese stuff. We'll, again, clear this off and we'll go to the third brand that you might think of when you think of premium scale things. Okay, the third brand, I was tempted to leave out. Mainly because I have a lot of them. So I thought it might have been a better video to do them all in one go. But I think I found these two in the box with all the others. So I thought, yeah, okay, I'll show these ones. Because it is still premium. We have Mini GT. Now this one is different to the others. No acrylic case. Comes in a sort of plain plastic box. Kind of like Auto World, actually. The little boxes. But yeah, we'll get it out. And you can see it comes in this little sort of plastic piece that folds out. And then you can grab the car. I prefer the acrylic cases because with these, if you've got, obviously, very small mirrors, you know, if it's that side on the plastic, it might fall off. But yeah, this is a Bayside Blue R34 GTR. And again, superbly detailed, correct wheels, correct front end, and those iconic 4 lights for the Skyline. But Mini GT don't just stick to Japanese stuff. They also, I'm going to be very careful with this one because it's quite small. They also do the Lancia Stratos. This one being in red with the gold wheels, which is very iconic. See, and again, you've got to sort of manhandle it a lot, which for a premium, you know, you can smudge, well, you can leave fingerprint and stuff on it. Yeah, you got pop-ups down. Separate piece for the exhaust. And yeah, just a nice little car. I'm not entirely sure about scaling. I mean, I've not seen a Stratos in real life. I've seen a replica, but that doesn't really count. Could be about right, actually, being from the 70s compared to a 90s JDM car. But yeah, supremely detailed. It just wish the packaging was a bit better. But yeah, we'll move on to our final brand, which is potentially my favourite one. Okay, so yeah, we're back to the acrylic cases for possibly my favourite of these 164 premium-ish, well, very premium actually, brands. This is Tarmac Works. Now this one being the Lancia Delta Integrale in red. You can see it's all fully licensed and everything. So yeah, we'll get it out of the acrylic case and just quickly show you. Now again, similar to the previous two acrylic case ones, you've got the tarmac and the car brand name there. We'll move it in closer. And it is just so detailed. Those correct wheels. Now the little Integrale badging and all the clear lights. You got the beige interior. It's just such a nice thing. I actually have quite a few Tarmac Works, but these were the only two that were in this particular box that I opened, so we're going with it now. Sometimes they do really limited editions of vehicles. So we've got the limited edition. This is certified. It's number 440, which is quite cool because one of the cars I have in real life, like a real car, is a Volvo 440. So actually, I quite like that. That's good to know. So yeah, you've got Evo 6 Monte Carlo Rally winner from Tommy Macklin, and there it is. There you can see got all the binocular detailing and all the livery and such, and you've got these very, very thin and very breakable antenna. And then if we can see inside, you've got a full accompaniment of bucket seats, roll cage. There's actually something taped to the bottom of it, which is you get some Marlboro stickers, which I'll leave there. I'll end up losing them if I don't. But yeah, fantastic looking model. I'm sure there's other premium 164 brands and stuff out there, but for me, the main four that I would probably focus on would be Tarmac Works, Mini GT, Power 64, and Inno 64. Yeah, only if they're sort of doing sort of realistic cars like that, or some rally cars like that, because a lot of them do a lot of the GT3 racers and supercars and things, which I'm just not that interested in. But realistic, sort of 80s, 90s, 2000s cars, Japanese, Euro, even if they want to venture into the Americans, yeah, I'll keep buying them. But yeah, that was it for today's video, and until next time, bye bye for now.